Okay, thanks, Jed. I appreciate it. Welcome to everyone, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Jack Laury, and I'm on the sales team here at SDS. Just a little backgrounder, for over 20 years, I've had the opportunity to work with Fortune class organizations and government entities like yours in addressing IT and business challenges with software automation solutions. And that includes security products such as enterprise SIEMs or security information and event management tools. So to set the stage for the next couple minutes, I'd like to touch on some key factors that highlight the criticality of including the mainframe in your defense in depth strategy. So enterprise SIEMs such as ArcSight, QRadar, Splunk, and others are required monitoring tools in today's enterprise. They're not just a nice to have like they used to be. They provide a central repository for all of the logs from every system, device, and application in your enterprise, and then use sophisticated correlation engines and machine learning to look for and alert on anomalies or anomalous behavior that may require action to be taken. This bad behavior could originate anywhere in the environment, and that includes the mainframe, but we find that the mainframe has more often than not been excluded from this quote-unquote enterprise strategy. So for those on the call from the InfoSec team, you've seen these stats dozens of times, and I don't mean to exclude the mainframe folks, because you've probably seen them as well. But the scary part is that the costs and the days to identify a breach do not seem to be going down. It highlights the creativity and the perseverance of hackers who are constantly looking for new ways to get in the door. It thus requires a true multi-tool defense in depth strategy to address specific gaps. So needless to say, those organizations that have and continue to deploy automated solutions to harden their environment, such as including real-time mainframe log forwarding into their SIEM strategy, will reduce their risk of breaches, will reduce their mean time to resolution, and if a breach does occur, will reduce the cost of that breach. So there are a number of factors affecting the total cost of any breach, with some of them obvious, like the size of the breach, and how long it takes to first identify it, and secondly, to contain it. But all of these speak broadly to the topic at hand in today's webinar. You need an effective means of detecting a potential breach as soon as possible, as well as the ability to get to the root cause as soon as possible so you can lessen the effect of that breach. This leads to a key point of our session: why include the mainframe in your real-time SIEM strategy? So yes, the mainframe is still the most secureable platform in the enterprise, but you must dispel the myth that it is not vulnerable, because it is, in fact, vulnerable, particularly due to business-driven modernization initiatives that have exposed it to other systems and to the internet. Furthermore, and perhaps most importantly, the mainframe is typically the system of record housing well over 50% and often over 70% of an organization's revenue-driven transactions and PII, or personally identifiable information. So even if your mainframe is in a state of evolution where apps are being rationalized and migrated to other platforms, and the mainframe itself is taking on a different role, or for that matter, may even be decommissioned over time, hackers certainly don't care about that. As long as it's an operational system that they can gain access to, it's on their target list. And the impact of a mainframe breach can be exponentially more damaging given the data that resides on it. One last but very important point: for the same reason you forward the logs from all of your distributed systems to your enterprise SIEM in real time, and that is for comprehensive event correlation and faster response to real risks, you also need to forward your z/OS mainframe logs in real time to your SIEM. You just can't say it too much. Time is of the essence in breach response. So you might think that hardening your defenses and overall security posture should be the main driver for incorporating mainframe logs into your SIEM. But we find that regulatory compliance is often the impetus for implementing an automated log forwarding solution. You know, perhaps you failed an audit, or the time it takes to prepare for one is far too time consuming. While many organizations have taken steps to save specific mainframe logs in a special file on the mainframe, or have consolidated them into a file that is pulled down by the enterprise SIEM on some sort of batch schedule to meet basic compliance requirements, This is still a manual process. It's prone to error, and more often than not, it's simply providing a storage area for thousands or millions of logs to be reviewed manually by a very limited resource team. From our experience, those logs are not in the required format to be incorporated into the SIEM's correlation process, as many SIEMs like ArcSight and QRadar have proprietary formatting requirements. The correlation process and the correlation engine in these SIEMs is the real value of an enterprise SIEM, looking for events or anomalies that could be an evolving threat originating from any system across the enterprise that needs to be evaluated. So here's the bottom line. Identifying vulnerabilities and attacks that originate in any and all systems in your enterprise as soon as possible is a requirement, not a nice to have, thus the expansive growth of the SIEM market. Incorporating your mainframe logs into your enterprise SIEM strategy in real time, number one, closes the gap that exists in many enterprises today, and presumably in your enterprise, which is why you're attending today's session, while maximizing the investment you've made in your enterprise SIEM. Number two, helps minimize the chance for and the effect of a breach. And number three is a compliance necessity for PCI, IRS 1075, GDPR, and other regulations. Infrastructure tools like our SDS VitalSigns SIEM Agent for ZOS help you shore up your defense in depth strategy and your ability to meet ever-changing compliance requirements. So that's it for me. Thank you for joining us today, and I'll pass this back to Jed. Jed, it's all yours.